Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brummel.
Good Saturday afternoon, and thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brummel, joined by our friend and new executive producer of AM Tampa Bay, Aaron Jacobson, our TV and radio senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
Good afternoon.
And across from me, we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati from the Bonati Spine Institute. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
We tell you week after week about the benefits of the Bonati spine procedures. They have over a 94% success rate, and a recent 7-year study has shown that that actual number is closer to 98.75%, which is amazing by any standards. Dr. Bonati paved the way from traditional invasive open back surgery. He formulated his own tools and methods to bring relief to the masses, and as a result, we have the Bonati spine procedures, which nobody else offers in the United States except us. And that is why Bonati succeeds where others fail. So with that said, coming up on the show, we have Dr. Hogberg. Is that how we pronounce his name? And he's going to be speaking with us in regards to the VA scandal and how it will continue as long as bureaucracy runs the veterans' health care. And bureaucrats and the VA have been given some sort of incentives to manipulate the wait time data, and that the wait time scandal wasn't caused necessarily by the veterans moving onto that Sunbelt area, so to speak. And then we'll hear about what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
in today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
On the line, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Gary Luttrell. He is calling in from St. Pete Beach. Thank you for being here with us, Gary.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
The one thing I want to let everyone know is that you're a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient.
I am from the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Gary, why don't you kind of tell us your story? How did you end up in pain? Kind of walk us through the process.
I originally hurt my back in combat in 1970 in Vietnam. Recovered after a couple of weeks of downtime, and then re-injured it again when I was in a training accident in Panama. At that time, I was hospitalized for a couple of weeks. The treatment for back injury then was traction and muscle relaxers. And then I had a reoccurrence about 17 years ago, and had back surgery. And the surgery did not benefit me at all. Matter of fact, I was diagnosed as failed back surgery.
Got it. At that point, what did you do?
I tried everything that I could. I tried physical therapy, different types of pain medicines. Pretty much, I had just come to the conclusion that my quality of life was going to be reduced for the remainder of my life.
Did this failed back surgery affect your service in the military?
It caused me to retire.
Got it.
I was out of the military and I was working with the Veterans Administration. I was the patient advocate at the Tampa VA Hospital, and when I had the back surgery, I could no longer work. And so I took a medical retirement from the VA.
Got it. So how long did you continue to suffer in pain from that previous failed back surgery?
17 years.
Wow.
And it just got to be progressively worse and worse. And I would say in the last year, I was having more bad days than good days. On a good day, I could get out of the house, walk with a limp. Pain on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 6 or 8 constant.
Right.
Wow.
On a bad day, I would be pretty much confined to the house with little to no activity whatsoever.
Can you describe the type of pain that was limiting your activities? Was it a radiating pain? Was it localized?
I had excruciating pain across the entire lower back, most prominent in the right SI joint,
Okay.
which is I'm thinking around L5S1 on the spinal column, and then a burning pain down the right leg and into my right foot.
Gary, it sounds like you suffered with that pain for quite some time. What led you to finally to seek a treatment or see if there was a solution to that pain?
I was at my son's basketball game, and there was a retired Army colonel there that had watched me walk, and he said, I know a little, I've heard a little bit about you, and is that a war wound? And I said, well, I injured my back, and then I had failed back surgery. And he said, well, I work with the Laser Spine Institute. I highly recommend that you come in for a consult. I think we can benefit you. And I made a consult, was prepared to go in, and I received a call from a good friend of mine, Dean Kuchera, here in St. Petersburg, and he said, Gary, I've heard about both, and I highly recommend that you go to the Bonati Spine Institute. And so I called and made an appointment for a consult, and went to this Bonati Spine Institute. When I walked in, I was greeted by a very, very friendly group of people. I carried a copy of a MRI that was approximately 8 months old. But Dr. Bonati said, no, we have our own MRI right here on station. Let's get a new MRI. So within an hour, I had a new MRI. I was back in Dr. Bonati's office. He looked at the MRI and started diagnosing my pain. He said, from looking at the MRI, you've got pain, and he would put his thumb on my back and say, you have pain here, and I would jump and say, yes, I do. Continue to look at the MRI and say, you probably have radiating pain down the right side of your leg and maybe as low as into the foot. And he diagnosed, looking at the MRI, exactly what was my symptoms was, and he says, we can correct that and most likely get you to 85 to 90% pain-free.
Now, when you heard him say, we're going to correct that, be honest, did you believe him at first? You've been living with this pain for so long. I'm sure you've heard that before. When he said we can correct that, how did you feel about that?
I was a little apprehensive at first because of the failed back surgery. I had said numerous times I will never, ever allow anyone to operate on my back again. But when I was with Dr. Bonati and if we were looking at the MRI, it was obvious that I had a huge bulge disc. It was also obvious that I had a lot of calcification in the orifice where the sciatic nerve goes out at the L5S1 area. When he started explaining how he would trim the bulge and how he would cut the calcium away from the orifice and possibly trim the actual hip bone to relieve the pressure on the sciatic nerve. As he, in his words, I believe he said, we will let the sciatic nerve breathe once again. I become very optimistic at that point.
After suffering as long as you did, what does it feel like to be in that process where there's finally light at the end of the tunnel?
I rejoiced, and the first test 2 weeks after the last surgery, I went on a 5-day fishing trip up in Canada, out on a tugboat, lodge fishing in 10 to 12 foot seas for king salmon and halibut, and I'd done that for four straight days and nights without one bit of pain. And
I'm guessing it had been a long time since you'd done that, right?
It's a long time. That's the first vacation I've had in quite some time that I truly enjoyed because, once again, I was pain-free.
Wow. You know, especially when you're suffering for that long, you went a 17-year span because you didn't believe that there was an answer. And how was that affecting your life, though? Obviously, you're married. How was that affecting just daily activities? Like if you had any sort of gardening or just fun sports type stuff?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't participate in sports. I'm an avid fisherman. I love to fish. And I have my own boat. I would go out in the boat, and I would watch my son and two grandsons fish through the day, and I may end up getting a half an hour, 45 minutes of fishing in an entire day.
Right.
The rest of the time, I was sitting with my knees pulled up where I could get a little bit of relief. I love to play in the yard. My wife, as she's out in the yard right now, playing in her flower garden, and it got to the point that I said, "Sweetheart, we've got to hire someone to take care of this yard." She refused, and she would do it all herself, and it makes you feel a little guilty. It's like I'm in the house sitting in an easy chair looking out the window, watching my wife do all the yard work.
Isn't that why we marry?
And not really. I have a lot of other things that she can do instead of working in the yard, but she enjoys it. But it makes you feel a little guilty that you can't pull your fair share around the house.
Gary, hold that thought for just a second. We're up against a break, and we'll be right back with you. You are listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. Coming up after the break, we're going to hear more from patient Gary Littrell on how the Bonati spine procedures helped him. We'll be back in just a moment. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail. The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at bonati.com.
All my pain is gone. Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible.
It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for continuing to listen to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati, our friend here, Aaron Jacobson, and our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff. Before the break, we were speaking with Congressional Medal of Honor recipient about his recovery with the Bonati spine procedures. On the line, we have Gary Luttrell. Thank you for holding. And we had just gotten a joke from Dr. Bonati before the break, but we wanted, Gary, for you to talk a little bit more about the surgery process, because unlike some other places, we don't keep people in the dark. They're not put completely under general anesthesia. We use something called conscious IV sedation, where you're interactive with the surgeon. Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, much different than the surgery I had 17 years ago, where I was completely under, and of course didn't wake up until I was in the recovery room. With Dr. Bonati, I fell asleep. It seems like I fell asleep and then immediately woke up. Mm-hmm. And during the procedure, we talked back and forth during the entire procedure. Not that I could tell him what to do or how to do it, but it just made me feel like, I was a part of what was going on. It was a comfortable feeling. And so I would definitely recommend this type of anesthesia for everyone.
It made you feel like he was able to properly get to the root of the problem that was causing your pain?
I didn't feel that I was qualified to get to the root of it, but it seemed like it empowered me to be part of the procedure. When something is happening with your body, right. Definitely you want to be a part of it.
Did you watch?
I didn't. I don't believe I seen the screen.
Oh, that's okay.
I may have glanced at it, but I'm really not sure.
Okay.
You don't have to sound ashamed. I mean, not every. To be honest, it's something it seems a bit extreme for me. But everyone I've talked to, they're like, "No, you have to look at the screen. It's amazing." But until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. But so I understand where you're coming from.
But you know how soldiers are. They're shooting bullets all over and going crazy all over. But when they need a little blood of themselves, they cry.
Okay.
Hey, Gary, tell me something. You have so much experience on this one. I am so impressed that they nominate the bridge that joined St. Pete with St. Pete Beach on your name. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I was very honored a couple of years ago to have Department of Transportation dedicate the Pinellas Bayway and the Pinellas Bayway Bridge after me. And so it is now even though it's still named Pinellas Bayway and the Pinellas Bayway Bridge, it's dedicated as the Command Sergeant Major Gary L. Luttrell Medal of Honor Bayway and Bridge. And it's quite an honor to have your little community feel strong enough about you as an individual to dedicate a Bayway and Bridge after.
Congratulations, yes. Man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service to our country.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When we were talking about the procedure, and why don't you talk about how quickly after surgery did you feel any sort of relief of pain? I realize you have surgical site pain and not everything comes back always immediately, but what was it like for you?
Well, when I woke up in the recovery room, or I think I was actually awake, transporting to the recovery room, one of the first things the nurse said was, "Okay, you've got to get up and walk." And my thought was, my God, I'm going to get up and walk this quick. Last time I had surgery, I was flat on my back for 2 days. And so I got up, walked about 20 to 30 feet, back to the little recliner chair I was sitting in. And it's like, this is fantastic. After that, and after I went home, after a couple of days, I started feeling kind of sore again. And I was thinking, oh boy, I hope this pain is not coming back. I went back to Dr. Bonatti 10 days later, and he removed the staples in my back and asked me how I felt. And I said, well, I still have some soreness bilaterally across the back and some sensation in the right leg. And I believe, I didn't watch the needle, but I believe that he injected both SI joints, the right and left SI joint. The pain immediately went away, and then over the next 2 weeks, each day I would feel a little less pain and a little stronger.
Right.
And one of the problems that I had prior to the surgery was that I couldn't ride or couldn't drive. I could only drive for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I'd have to stop and attempt to walk. The first 10 or 15 steps was almost impossible to take, and then my back would limber up a little bit, and I would walk for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'd get in the car and drive again and repeat the process. So it made it almost impossible for me to drive, so I quit driving long distances. This past weekend, I drove all the way up to Daytona Beach for the 4th of July race, NASCAR race, without stopping, got out of the car and walked without a limp, without any pain whatsoever.
So Gary went to the Coke 400. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead, please.
He went to the Coke 400 and ended up at the world's largest demolition derby.
I did. I was the grand marshal for that race, and I think I jinxed them. I've never seen a race that had so many cars taken out. It was really a pile up. But fortunately, all the drivers walked away. I've got to know some of the drivers, and all the drivers walked away unharmed, and that's the main thing.
Well, if you had trouble driving, I can't imagine how uncomfortable it would have been to sit in those seats in Daytona for the whole race. And it sounds like you had a pretty good time over there.
I had a wonderful time. I was a guest of the track. Like I say, I was the grand marshal, so I got a real good seat, and I was able to get up and walk around during the race. So, fantastic time.
That's fantastic. And my assumption is you would refer people to Bonatti if they were suffering in pain?
Well, I already have. I have referred 3 people already.
Thank you.
People that I know, and said, Gary, how you're not limping. How's your back? And after I explained the procedure, well, where did this take place? And so I've recommended 3 of my close friends to Dr. Bonatti already.
Well, thank you.
I would definitely recommend everyone that I know that had back issues.
Thank you very much, Gary, for your time. We look forward to having you on the television program as well, and continued good health.
Thank you.
You are listening to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonatti Spine Institute. After the break, we're going to hear from Dr. Hogberg about the VA healthcare system and some continuing VA scandals.
Thank you, Gary.
Welcome, sir. Take care.
Thanks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail. The Bonatti Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at bonatti.com.
All my pain is gone. Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It made my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for continuing to listen to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm here with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati, Aaron Jacobson, and our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff. On the line, we are excited to introduce Dr. David Hoegberg, Healthcare Policy Analyst with the National Center for Public Policy Research, and he has just released a new paper warning that the VA scandal will not be an isolated debacle, as long as bureaucrats continue to run the administration. I wholeheartedly agree with you, but why don't you elaborate on that, Dr. Hoegberg?
Certainly I will, and feel free to call me David if you like.
Okay.
Well, it's basically that bureaucracies behave in certain ways. They face certain incentives and constraints, and those are going to continue regardless of whether or not we bring in a new administrator to try to clean things up. Mm-hmm. Give you a couple of examples here. First of all, bureaucracies don't get their funding from the people who are their customers. In the case of the VA, the veterans who are patients. Mm-hmm. In a normal market, of course, customers do control the funding, and so if, let's say, business A makes its customers wait too long, then customers are going to take their money elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Business A is going to see a hit in its revenues, and it's going to either have to shape up or go under. There is, no such feedback, you might say, for the VA. It gets its money year in, year out, basically, from the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. And so there's no incentive to provide good customer service or, more specifically, adequate care for veterans.
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
It surprises me that we allow the government to run the VA the same way that it runs the post office and the IRS, which are two examples of complete inefficiency. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How can that be applied to healthcare and to our veterans who, if we're going to take care of anyone, those who have served the country, don't they deserve the very best healthcare?
Well, absolutely, and I mean this is the wait time scandal that we've recently seen is nothing new. The VA has been through loads of scandals, but there's a whole group of bureaucrats who have a kind of a vested interest in the VA continuing the way it is. A group of politicians as well, and That rarely changes, so that's kind of why the VA has continued on as in the way it has as long as it has. Really, the only way we're ever going to see things improve is if veterans are put in control of the funding, the money for their health care. If they can take the funding to a different, to a private, facility, or if they want to keep it with the VA, if there are good VA facilities, fine. But then the VA would have to actually, appeal to customers to keep their funding. And believe me, when that sort of competition happens, the quality of care veterans receive would go up considerably.
David, that idea makes way too much sense for them to ever implement it.
Sad but true.
I hope you're wrong, but I fear you're not.
I want to run something by you that we've discussed here on the show when we talk about the VA. It's obvious that these bureaucrats are not properly running it, and I think conventional wisdom says we need somebody who understands how to operate large hospitals. The governor here in Florida used to run one of the largest healthcare companies in America. I wonder if he might not be someone uniquely qualified, understanding the way government and politics works, but also understanding how to run a commercial hospital. I wonder if Governor Scott may have some unique skill sets that could help him turn that around, or at least contribute to turning it around.
Well, he might, but there was a gentleman by the name of Ken Kaiser who was Undersecretary for Health in the VA in the 90s under Clinton. And he made some changes which improved the VA for a while. But whatever changes someone like that makes, I mean, one, that person who's running the VA isn't going to be there forever. And two, the incentives and constraints that bureaucracies face, just sort of reassert themselves over time. Let's talk about one other here that I think led to this scandal. As you may well know, the VA had a 14-day wait time standard. That is, that patients were supposed to be able to see a physician within 14 days. And a lot of facilities were not meeting that standard, and so they manipulated the data, making it look like they were doing just fine. And of course, when one of the problems with the VA, as with any bureaucracy, is that the employees have civil service protection, which makes it very difficult to fire them. And so when having a good data is dependent, or getting bonuses and promotions and so forth is dependent on having good data on your wait times, and you don't have it. But you can have it if you cheat, basically, and there is no punishment for cheating. Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going to happen. And I don't want to suggest that every government employee is dishonest, or everyone at the VA is dishonest. I suspect most of them are honest, but most people are not criminals, nor are they saints. And when there's no punishment
Safeguards
for dishonesty, you're going to get some more of that.
You would think that, pardon me, you would think that they would have some sort of safeguards put out there to make sure that the documentation they're providing is accurate and not made up.
Well, apparently they don't.
That's sad.
I mean, you can have all the safeguards you want, but there's always ways to get around them. Just about any safeguard that you put up, and to the extent to which they're willing to do it is, if their job is, if basically there's no consequence for cheating, then if you don't get fired for it, you're going to see it more often.
These are people's lives.
Really, I mean, being able to fire the employees is really probably the only reasonable safeguard against it.
Correct, because it's not like any other job where it's just paperwork and it still would be wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that would be correct, but when you're dealing with people's lives and there's no accountability, And people
well,
are
even,
dying?
I mean, there was, I can't remember the big financial firm, but there was a scandal involving manipulating data with what's known as Libor rates, and they fired a bunch of guys who were involved in it.
Right.
And that's arguably not life and death. I mean, that's what happens in the private sector, and, I'm not saying there isn't cheating in the private sector. Of course there is, but there's probably, considerably less of it because people can get fired for it. But as long as basically the customers can't fire the providers, you're going to see this happen time and again.
David, as a healthcare policy analyst, you are uniquely qualified to kind of have that 50,000-foot view of our healthcare system. Mm-hmm. The million-dollar question: what's the answer? How do we fix it?
Oh boy, I'm reluctant to always to answer those questions because when you're dealing with a nation of 300 million people, 316, I guess now, with so many people having different desires and needs and wants, and there being no one healthcare answer for everyone. I just think the one thing that we should do more often is put patients directly in control of the resources of paying for health care, whether that's small things like just visiting your primary care doctor, or even large things like heart operations or hip operations and so forth. I think that would lead to more competition, drive down costs, and lead to more innovation among providers to find ways to improve quality and keep costs down. So, if that's that's the one thing that I push hard when I can. But I really want a system where 300 million people can find their own answers, which is what we need.
Well, thank you, David, for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time. Certainly, we might call back on you to talk at another point.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you for your input.
And let me just say, if any of your listeners want to read our stuff, we're at nationalcenter.org.
Nationalcenter.org. Thank you very much.
And that was Dr. Hoberg, the healthcare policy analyst with the National Center for Public Policy Research. So thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you.
And once again, you're listening to News Radio 970 WFLA, American Medicine Today.
If you or someone you know has headaches, neck, back, or sciatic pain, they can reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Keep in mind, if you're on Twitter, you can tweet at Dr. Bonati or hashtag American Medicine Today. I want to toss things over to Dr. Bonati once we come back from break. Sir, you are listening again to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. After the break, we'll hear more about what's new in American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail. The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at Bonati.com.
All my pain is gone. Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Vermel.
Thank you for listening to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonatti Spine Institute. I'm here with Aaron Jacobson and Jeff Wagstaff, and of course, world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti.
Well, I have some problems on the situation of the VA.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that we need to remove the bureaucrats, the politicians,
Mm-hmm.
and the PhDs that they create a lot of data and information. Really, we need to go to the experts.
Mm-hmm.
I really think the VA needs to be an institution that is exclusively designed for war injuries, where experts will take care of those war injuries. They cannot be for colds and backaches and toe aches and eye problems. They need to be the real experts in charge, so that enormous bulk that you have right now of people will not be waiting a month. If I have a problem and you as a patient, I go to a doctor and they give me an appointment for a month, I will look for another doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot make that the veterans are being submitted to that type of a treatment. Needs to be an immediate treatment. So to be able to afford that, we need to remove all these situations of normal health problems out of the VA, have vouchers, so every vet will be able to go to any doctor that they want, wherever they want, and have a treatment for their needs.
Mm-hmm.
If it is a war injury that requires hospitalization, operations, and problems like that, or rehabilitation due to amputations or situations like that, yes, they're supposed to be treated there. So we'll reduce the amount of people that they are being treated, and they will have real experts.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we need to look, we need to use common sense. We keep talking and talking about the VA problem, but nothing is happening. You saw all the politicians jumping and going crazy when this situation raised a couple of weeks, a month ago, and everybody of the politicians were making meetings and discussions and things like that in radio and television. But it's just only a posturing. They are looking for recognition, so you remember the name and you vote for them. We need to stop this this charade. We need to have a term limits for the politicians. They need to serve 4 years, then they need to go home and live with the laws that they created. And you will see that we don't need this type of professional politicians. Everything that they discuss today is a separation between Americans. Everything that they do is separate groups. They separate race, they separate gender, they separate economical position, they separate everything. So what happened is they have groups that they are going to vote for them. We need to stop this vote situation. We need to have results. In the VA, immediately, all these individuals that they are in the VA right now, they are paid. And the payment of this are clerks that are overpaid, administrators are overpaid, and other support staff is overpaid. They don't have review of the how to manage these payments, because for 14 years, when they submit to some type of a change, those changes are being blocked by the same people who wants to earn the money without doing the job. The other thing is, remember when Reagan fired the air controllers? How fast the situation was solved? How all these individuals that they were air controllers, that they were practically blocking the nation from safety, they were replaced by Reagan air controllers from the Air Force. And you know what happened? Everything got clear, no accidents. Everybody understood that this man was not playing games. Okay, why Obama, with all his mighty, doesn't go right now and fire everybody on the VA and put in charge physicians?
Because it takes leadership.
Well, the problem is, I understand that. So then, why don't we get rid of Obama? Because Obama is a problem in this nation today. And the problem is getting bigger and bigger, and it's not only affecting healthcare, it's affecting the way that we live now.
Well, he states himself, if you don't like what I do, sue me.
Well, the problem is, why to sue him?
Exactly. He should just be doing right by the country to begin with.
Yeah. How do you get the power out of the politicians' hands? I mean, we talked about shorter terms, but that's pretty much a long shot. Without that happening, how do we get the power of controlling the VA out of the politicians' hands?
Very simple. What you do is you said the individuals that they are managing today, the VA, all the veterans, they need to go and say, everybody who is in charge of the VA needs to go home, and we need to get their physicians. They have shortage of neurosurgeons. They have shortage of family physicians, the specialties. So, but they are overpaying people that they are on the management, and the overpayment is enormous. That on the millions, or tens of millions. So what we need to do is we need to go and say everybody that is in this situation, that's working more than, we need to remove the individuals that they are too long in one position and they are not responsible to it. If you cannot fire somebody, you cannot demand from that person responsibility.
Correct.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonati, MD.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Dr. Bonati. For people that listen to our program, not only are we on radio, but we're also on a television program called the same thing, American Medicine Today, and it is seen on ABC WFTS, Channel 28, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m., or actually at 7 p.m. Make sure you tune in, and you will hear more from Dr. Bonati about the Institute. We definitely talk to other doctors in the area with new medical innovations. And then, of course, we still continue to talk about politics and how it relates to medicine. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. Make sure to reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483 or Bonati.com. We'll see you next week. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail. The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at Bonati.com.
All my pain is gone. Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.